Hello and welcome to We the People. My name is Angela Mitchell. Today my guest's name is David Gady, and David works for the Wallingford Fire Department. Our focus today is on David's gift for playing the bagpipes. Hi David.
How are you?
And welcome to We the People. How are you doing today?
Good, you?
Good, good. I think I'd like to start off first for our audience to give a little background that would help them understand who you are, where you've been, and what you're doing now.
Well, I was born in Meriden, Connecticut, born and raised until about 10 years ago.
And here you are in Wallingford.
Here I am, I moved to Wallingford. I've been involved with the fire service for approximately 29 years. I was a volunteer in South Meriden Volunteer Fire Department for about 10 years. Started off as a firefighter, climbing the ranks of lieutenant, captain, assistant chief of training, and then deputy chief of operations.
Well, those are wonderful accomplishments. That's great.
And during that time, I knew I wanted to be a career firefighter, so I was like a professional test taker all over the state of Connecticut taking tests. And not until I became a paramedic, Wallingford actually offered me a job within 2 months of after graduating the 10-month class of being a paramedic. So
it's very good.
it was a big accomplishment, a big dream of mine, and I've been with the Wallingford Fire Department for about 19 years now, 18, 19 years. I started in February of 1996, and it's been a dream of mine, and I love every minute of it.
And you're living the dream.
That's it.
God bless the firemen.
Not
That's
many
what I
people
always
can say they love their job, but I do.
That's wonderful. Again, I will say, God bless the firemen. Let's see, I'm going to continue. Is there an aspect of being a fireman that you find difficult?
Yeah, it's a day-to-day thing, depending on call volume, which type of calls you're responding to. But we see a lot of disheartening things to see. A lot of the public, in the time of need.
Absolutely.
They're sick, they're hurt. Death, trauma, it's a very difficult thing to deal with at times. But on hindsight, it's nice to see the good that comes out with the public, like we actually see somebody that you've saved your lives.
Yes. Very rewarding. Yes, I can imagine. And so the rewarding part is the good side.
Absolutely.
And saving lives, of course.
Yes.
When did you become interested in the bagpipes?
Well, I was taking a class about 8 years ago through the state of Connecticut Fire Training Academy, and a friend of mine who's a firefighter in Meriden was talking about his interest in playing the bagpipes, and he knew somebody who was an instructor. So he said, Dave, if you're interested, I'm going to hook us up with this guy, Tommy, from Milford, and I decided, what the heck, try it.
There you go. That's how things happen, just opportunities.
So the funny story about that was, every time we start practicing, he'd always say, this guy Jason wants you to do this, and Jason wants you to do that, and learn this and learn that. And I'm like, I don't know who Jason is.
Who's Jason, and what do you want me to learn, right?
And he says, well, he's your bagpipe major. And I'm like, I don't have a band, nor do I have any really interest in doing it. And he says, you'll meet these guys soon enough, and you'll join a band. Well, history has it that I finally met these guys, and it was a great bunch of guys. We're a bunch of career firefighters from New Haven County. We're in a band called the New Haven County Firefighters on Society Pipes and Drums. I've been playing with them for about 8 years now, and we do a lot of different things. We do a lot of parades, all the parades for St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely.
We start off every weekend, like March 3rd was this year, was the first weekend this year. We ended up going down to Rockaway, New York, come back and we play Newport, Rhode Island, and then we did the New Haven Parade, the Meriden Parade, Mystic Parade.
Awesome.
And then,
those are great places.
Yeah.
Must be fun.
And we do a lot of charities and fundraisers and stuff like that. So, and of course, like tomorrow night is 9/11 ceremonies,
Yes.
which I will be playing at the town hall.
Yes.
For the remembrance.
And what time is that?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock
Town hall.
p.m.
Weather permitting, it's going to be inside or outside, depending on the weather.
Wow, that's very admirable. The bagpipe tune that's an inspiration for you, can you tell our listeners
Yeah, it's always been Amazing Grace. It's a very emotional song, and of course everybody knows it through funerals or something sad. Playing the bagpipes for the 8 years, I still get emotional when I do hear it, when I hear other people playing it. But we play it all the time, and we do a different version of it once in a while, which is a Cajun Grace version, which is a very fast, upbeat song, and it's a lot of fun to play, and a lot of people like it. So.
I bet you don't know that I can play it on the guitar. Not too quickly, but I can play Amazing Grace on the guitar, so it's a great song. It's simple and elegant, and it kind of speaks for itself. There are origins of the bagpipes, and if you want to mention a little bit about that for our audience.
Well, the little research that I did look into it, I really didn't know this, that I guess 1000 BC, the Romans actually had somewhat of a version of a bagpipe, and about, I think, the 13th century, the Scottish ended up coming up with a version of the bagpipes that we know now, and it was actually called the Scottish Highland Bagpipes. And
I've heard that name before, Highland, pertaining to bagpipes, the Highland.
And then actually it was introduced to Ireland back in, I think, 16th century.
Okay.
And that's they named it the war pipes. And the history that I found pretty intriguing was the bagpiper would lead the soldiers into battles, and I guess it was to confuse the enemy and
a diversion, more or less.
Correct. For
the enemy. Of course, back then, they had simple ways of doing things, and I suppose if you had an army listening to this noise coming in from the side, they would turn their heads. And then that was a diversion. I do have a little bit of information I'd like to tell our audience about the bagpipes and about Scotland, basically. I just thought it was interesting. The first apostle, St. Andrew, is the patron saint of Scotland, and Andrew was recognized as the official patron saint of Scotland in 1320. The St. Andrew's cross was adopted as the national emblem and flag of the Scots. And I thought that was kind of interesting, to bring a little bit of spirituality to the whole thing. But I always enjoyed bagpipes, and the Scottish seem to have embraced it. I find that bagpipes are great in every avenue. I mean, especially parades, of course, but I think of it at weddings. Weddings that I've been to and worked at have them as additional music, and I think it just adds some charm and ambiance to that. Yeah. So I enjoy the bagpipes greatly, and I don't know if Dave might get embarrassed a little bit with this, but actually how I discovered David is one night walking in Wallingford at the Wallingford Celebration Music on Wednesday nights. After the performance, I was walking towards my vehicle, and there, behold, in front of the fire department in Wallingford on North Main Street, I heard these bagpipes off in the distance as I was walking towards them. I'm like, oh my goodness, that sounds so enchanting. And I thought, oh my goodness. So and I walked toward you. I think I said, hey, yay. And did I approach you that night?
No, you yelled something.
I called the next day. And I just thought it was so, wonderful. So that's how I discovered David, walking through town.
I was kind of shocked, though, that night. Once in a while on a nice evening, I'll go out there and practice, and people love to hear it, especially, when they're walking in their evening walk and stuff.
Such a wonderful thing. You don't expect it, and it's just, the melody just goes through the air, and it's just wonderful.
I was kind of shocked to see 30 or 40 people standing there watching me that night.
It's like, whoa, but it's well-deserved audience, because you play them very well. And in fact, here we are. The next step is going to be David will be playing his bagpipes in a few moments. would like to thank David Gady for coming to We the People and playing his beautiful bagpipes for us and sharing it with all the audience. And I hope you have enjoyed our program. It's very informational and entertaining, and God bless the firemen of Wallingford.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Gady. I'm a career firefighter paramedic for the town of Wallingford for the past 18 years. Not many people get a chance to say that they actually love their job, enjoy going to work, helping people, helping the community, saving lives, saving personal property. But my dream came true. Yours can too. If you're interested in being a firefighter, stop by any local volunteer fire department in the town of Wallingford. Yalesville Firehouse on Hope Hill Road, Station 5, North Farms Volunteer Fire Department on Route 68, and you have the East Wallingford Fire Department over on Kondraki Lane in Wallingford. So stop by and pick up your application today and be a proud member of the Wallingford Fire Department. Thank you very much.